Okay.
Ooh, it's lovely.
This is too dark. I don't know if you can see it. Let me put light on. Oh, sorry.
Is that Fatima?
Yes.
Is it something green?
Sorry?
Is it green? What is it?
Yes, it's olive green.
Is it on the right? Everything on the right?
It's a cardigan.
You and mute.
Yeah.
Great.
Something like that on top.
Yeah. Wow, that looks great.
Okay, I'm here on this point.
Yeah.
So still a little bit to go to the color. And this merino and dye for myself.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. Okay. You'll see this experience.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Is anyone on a gansey?
Yes,
I did the gansey, small one. At Christmas time, I did this gansey.
Oh, it's a mini gansey.
Yes.
Oh,
it's a sample.
That's gorgeous.
Yes, it's a sample from the book of Bert Brosson-Raisel.
Oh, that's amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you can sit to a screen to speak.
Oh, Barbara's holding up. Is that a gansey as well, Barbara? That's beautiful.
Yes, that was my son's gansey that my mother knitted for him when he was about 4.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful.
And I did the...
It is beautiful. It's perfect, yes.
Started.
Well done.
Beautiful, Barbara. Wow.
Knitting started.
And I did the fish now, the herring.
You've been really busy.
Oh, no. She must hear me. I think she hears me.
I'm wearing the one that I made, but you can't really see it, I don't think. Can you see
Oh,
it?
Jean.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm still redoing the neck to change the neckline, but yeah. So I did it on a knitting course, mostly.
Oh, wow. Must have taken a while. How long did it take you to finish?
I hesitate to say because I reckon I could have made 3. I didn't do it to a pattern because I designed the pattern. So as I was knitting it, it was too wide, it was too small, the sleeve depth was wrong. I probably took it out as many times. I think I made 4 sleeves altogether.
Oh, wow,
So,
that's dedication.
I don't know how long it took really. But anyway, the only problem with it is, I didn't know at the time that green is unlucky.
No, I don't believe it.
Gansey,
in a gansey, is it?
Gansey, apparently. But also it's very, very, very warm.
Just don't wear it to sea and you'll probably be okay.
Well, exactly. Don't wear it to sea. I reckon I'm okay where I am. But it is actually very, very warm, so I don't wear it all that often. But there we go. Right, I'm gonna mute now, I think.
Okay.
So
Carolyn, do you want to make a start? Or?
Yeah, it's just after 7. I maybe just wait a couple more minutes to see if anyone else is going to join. Yeah, I think. Yeah. So I'll make a start. Anyone who's running a bit behind can just join in. So. Thanks everyone for coming. Welcome to our first Knitting the Herring event with me, Carolyn, from the Scottish Fisheries Museum, and Mary Lewis at Heritage Crafts Association. We're really delighted with how Knitting the Herring has been received by so many people, and it's just been a real pleasure to see how many gansey enthusiasts there are out there. So we launched the website last week, so I'll share that link with you later on, and it includes the first of our own collections from the Scottish Fisheries Museum. So yeah, I'll share that link and the gansey email later on. So Mary has very kindly offered to do a talk for us today on gansey heritage and how to preserve it as a sort of modern craftsmanship. So really, it's going to be a really great introduction to the project to just show why ganseys are such a important part of fishing culture and heritage. So yeah, we'll just I just got some technical details. I think everyone's muted anyway. So, and we'll record it as well, just in case others couldn't make it and want to see it another time. And yeah, I'll just share the screen for Mary to start her presentation. So thanks everyone for coming along, and hope you enjoy it.
How's that? Can you all see that okay? Great.
If anyone has any questions as well, just use the chat bar at the bottom, but we can pick these up afterwards, or if you've got any other questions, we can open them up and yeah, have a little chat and share of what we've been knitting recently. So thanks.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Mary Lewis. I am the Endangered Crafts Officer at the Heritage Crafts Association. I think that's the best job title ever. I am responsible for the Red List of Endangered Crafts, and I am responsible for putting projects and interventions in place to try and prevent crafts from becoming extinct. Oh, hello. How do I do this? Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I'm not a gansey knitter, so I'm not an expert on ganseys. I'm sure there are a lot of people here who have more expertise than I do, but I am a bit of a knitter, so you get to see photos of my knitting on screen tonight, because I don't have photos of people knitting ganseys, so I hope you don't mind. The Heritage Crafts Association was founded in 2009, so we're 11 years in, and we are the advocacy body for traditional heritage crafts. We were set up to respond to a gap really in support for the heritage craft sector. So there is a lot of existing support for the built heritage environment, so our heritage buildings and our landscapes, and our tangible collections, the objects and artefacts. And there's also a lot of support for contemporary craft, but not so much for traditional heritage crafts.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Barbara, do you think you could mute yourself? Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. So our aim is to support a vibrant craft sector. So when people think of heritage crafts, they often think of historic crafts. So we are rooted in history. We are a heritage organisation, but we're looking for skills that are relevant for the future. So we're not just thinking about crafts as dusty relics of the past or a romanticised view of the past. These are craft skills that are relevant and important to take forward into the future as viable crafts in their own right, but also as crafts that are embedded within our social and cultural heritage. So we aim to create conditions within which an increasingly diverse community of craftspeople can thrive. Crafts are becoming much more diverse, not as diverse as we'd like, but there are loads of people now engaging in crafts at all different levels, from the hobbyist to the professional, and we would aim to support all of them. We promote craft skills and knowledge as both relevant and important in a hyper-digitised society. I mean, again, I think a lot of people think of heritage crafts as being somehow anti-technology, but we feel that there is an opportunity for both to exist side by side, and that both are equally relevant for the future. So we want to support a healthy craft sector. We want to do this through building skills and celebrating excellence. Support a craft sector that's economically, environmentally and socially sustainable. Otherwise, there isn't really a lot of point in doing it. We want to tackle, sorry about the spelling mistake, tackle ethical issues in craft in an honest and open way. So we've been doing quite a bit around knitting recently. So this is the lovely Kaif. He's one of our patrons, and we've done quite a bit of work with him over the years. We are hoping to do a project with him next year, but it's top secret. I can't tell you. You have to wait for that. We've also been doing a bit of work. So online, obviously, during lockdown, a lot of our activities have moved from physical activities to online activities. So we've done a couple of those in knitters recently. We did one with Jeanette Sloan, who's possibly the UK's most prominent black knitwear designer, and with Celia Pym, who's quite an innovative artist, knitter and darner, who does some really interesting work around knitwear and repair. So those are both really interesting things we've been engaged with recently. So HCA's approach. The aim of the HCAs, particularly in the early years, was to provide advocacy at the highest level. It was to try and raise the profile of heritage crafts up to the same level of recognition as our built heritage and contemporary crafts. So we went in right at the top. We run an awards programme, and we have nominated numerous craftspeople for national honours for MBEs. So I think we're around over 20 craftspeople now that have received MBEs recommended by us. We provide advocacy, so we are involved in the all-party parliamentary group for crafts. We've had numerous events in the House of Lords, and we are involved with UNESCO. So we provide a platform for heritage crafts through our events, and obviously during lockdown all of that's been online, but it's been very successful for us, and we will continue to do these online events into the future. And so the bit that is probably most interesting now is it's not obvious how to do this on here. Is the red list of endangered crafts. Now, gansey knitting is listed as an endangered craft. So the red list was first published in 2017, and it was the first report of its kind to rank traditional crafts by the likelihood they would survive to the next generation. So we deliberately went for an approach like the red list of endangered species to really draw attention to how at risk some of these crafts are and how few practitioners are remaining. I am just in the process of putting together the research for the third round of research, which will be published in 2021. Currently, there are 213 crafts on the list. This goes up every time. So I think last time we added about 40. I'm expecting to add another lot of crafts this time. 4 crafts are listed as extinct. We don't aim to list every craft that's ever been. We just look at crafts that have very recently gone extinct, because there may be a chance that we could recover those skills. 36 crafts are listed as critically endangered. This is where we feel that there's a serious risk that there are not enough people to pass on the skills of that craft to the next generation. 71 listed as endangered, again at risk, perhaps not as at risk. On the critical list are a lot of crafts that maybe only have 1 or 2 or a handful of practitioners remaining. 102 crafts are viable, however, they're not risk-free, and particularly at the moment we're keeping a close eye on everything because COVID is going to have quite a devastating impact on the craft sector, we believe, just like a lot of other sectors. So we will be monitoring the effect on the sector. So issues affecting craft viability. These have been familiar to knitting. Got an ageing skilled workforce. There are very few professional knitters now remaining. A loss of craft skills. So whilst I think in knitting the craft skills have been retained really well, there are thousands of extremely skilled knitters, and it's one of the sectors where the amateur craftspeople are keeping it largely alive. So there are so many hugely skilled knitters who are perpetuating the craft, and it's really great to see it so vibrant. However, there are very few professional hand knitters now, lots of designers and people publishing patterns, but not many people who are knitting to order. Obviously that's market challenges. It's difficult to produce something commercially viable like that. Supply of raw materials, I think that's probably okay with knitting, but it's an issue for other sectors. Challenges running a small business, training, recruiting new people, and technology, which we see as both a threat and an opportunity. So this is another thing that I run. This is the Endangered Crafts Fund. So having identified the crafts that are in danger, we are now looking to provide support. So we never have enough money, we always need more money. So if you want to donate, we'll happily take that. But we are doing a range of projects to help ensure that endangered crafts are given the support they need to thrive. So the picture there is of the lovely Gillian. We've just given her a grant to look at the craft of disappearing four-edge painting, which a lot of people won't have heard of, and that is the art. If you imagine a Bible on a lectern with the pages found out, it is a painting on the sides of the pages that disappears when you close the book. There's currently only one professional 4-edge painter in the UK, so we're hoping by the end of this there might be 2. So they're small gains, but they're gains, and it all raises awareness of the craft, so hopefully she'll go forward and teach more people to do it. So we provide a range of small grants. We've funded all kinds of crafts, fan making, sail making, basket making, and a range of others. So it's fascinating stuff. So intangible cultural heritage, this is really relevant to this gansey project. So I won't read it all out, but that's the convention. So it is about, it's about things that we take with us as human beings, and so these are cultural. This is cultural heritage that has to be embodied through an actor. So they've got 5 domains. So this is oral traditions and expressions, performing arts, social practices, rituals and festive events, knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe, and traditional craftsmanship. Yay! So these don't exist as artifacts. These are things that are embodied within us and we pass on to the next generation. So on traditional craftsmanship, I should point out that the UK has not ratified this convention. So 171 countries have. The UK is not one of them. So I think we're one of around 9 that haven't, which is slightly embarrassing. But we do still support the principles of the convention. And the Heritage Crafts Association is officially recognised as an NGO for intangible cultural heritage, which means that we do have some links with UNESCO. And the convention says that it's important, so any efforts to safeguard traditional craftsmanship must focus not on preserving craft objects, no matter how beautiful, precious, rare or important they might be, but on creating conditions that will encourage artisans to continue to produce crafts of all kind and to transmit their skills and knowledge to others. So with relation to this project, I think it's a good example of something that combines the tangible and the intangible. So the tangible is the ganseys themselves. It is that online collection, it is that physical collection of artifacts, and they are beautiful and important in their own right. However, without the skills and knowledge of how those were made and how they were, how those skills were passed on, the artifacts themselves start to lose meaning. The stories that surround them, the cultural relevance of those jumpers, and ultimately they will cease to exist because they're jumpers, they don't last forever. So the intangible elements of the project are about preserving the knowledge and skills as embedded within the social and cultural heritage of these fishing communities. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I understand that the gansey tradition moved down through from Scotland down through the east coast, and ganseys are found all over the UK within fishing communities and further afield in Holland and Nordic countries as well. So that really tells a story of movement. It tells a story of exchange and how those patterns moved with people around the country. And the patterns exist in people's heads. They were never written down and they constantly evolve. So this is really important to gansey knitting. And when we were looking at putting gansey knitting on the red list of endangered crafts, we were faced with the question, is it just knitting? And essentially, yes, it is just knitting. It's knit and purl just like every other type of knitting. However, it's got something special because these patterns and skills are embodied within the people who knitted them. The patterns are not written down, and in some ways it takes a bit of the magic away when they are written down. But then we are modern knitters, we're contemporary knitters, we use patterns, and that is the way that will be shared into the future. So it does make it relevant in this context, especially where the people who've got that actual oral tradition probably getting fewer and fewer. And all the stories and mythologies that surround gansey. So I think most of us are familiar with the story of a fisherman being able to be identified by his gansey if he's washed ashore. Whether or not you believe that that's true, it is part of the mythology that surround ganseys. It may just be a tall tale. It is rooted in truth because these patterns were specific to local communities, but they also were exchanged. And the more I've learned about ganseys, the more I can see that they are telling the story of communities and travel and movement and exchange. So essentially they're workwear, aren't they? They were the high performance workwear of their day. The way they were knitted was to optimize warmth and waterproofness, and short sleeves to stop them getting soggy and all of those things. But they also tell a really important story of female creativity, because these women put a lot of love and care into knitting these garments, and they're beautifully knitted. As a knitter myself, I know that they must have been using that as a means of self-expression. I know ganseys were knitted for money, and they were knitted because people had to knit them, but they would have knitted together, they would have socialised well, they were doing it just as we are here today, which I think is a really important story of female creativity and craft and self-expression through these essentially practical workwear garments. What else was I going to say? So I suppose I can finish on saying that I'm optimistic about the future of gansey patterns. I think through networks like this and the work that's being done to preserve these, preserve the artifacts themselves, but also record the skills, pass on those patterns to the next generation, it seems that this will survive into the future. Knitting's really vibrant, and I think people are starting to realise that learning about the cultures and social practices that from where these originate is also a really important part of knitting traditions across the world. So I put in a few photos. I've stolen these off the Scottish Gansey website. If you hadn't had a look at it already, it's really interesting. I love these photos of women wearing their ganseys. They would have been knitting their ganseys. They would have worked hard and grafted hard. I can't imagine doing a day of that and then knitting in my downtime. They must have been made of steel. There's men proudly wearing their ganseys. This is from the Proper Gansey website, which is another great project promoting ganseys. I love that image. There's something really beautiful about it. And this is off the new gansey database. So this is a gansey by an unknown knitter. Something about it really caught my eye. It's by an unknown knitter, but it does have an inscription inside it, which is really, really lovely. Doesn't look like it's been worn, does it? I don't know if that's one that hasn't been worn. And that's me. So I can be found doing many heritage crafts in my spare time. That's me and my coracle with my little girl. And that's my contact details. So if anyone wants to get in touch, please do. We always welcome new members. So a good way to support the Heritage Crafts community is to become a member of the Heritage Crafts Association. And we do work very hard to try and support a wide range of heritage crafts, including knitting. So yeah, does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask?